exactly. Like keep it.
I got a flat tire on my way home today. That was wonderful.
Are you close?
No, I was in Taunton.
Oh, right in
Like,
time.
just left. Yeah. I know, I just made it. I wasn't sure.
It just sucks that I had this awful car, and one time, actually the day after I found out that I was going to eventually be losing my job, I went to the garage to get something in my car, and it would not, like, it would not go into drive.
Oh. Oh, great.
Awesome. Fourth time I had it towed to the dealership.
Hmm.
So.
So you get caught at the Blanc train. And 55 minutes to get from Route 9 in Framingham to Holliston. Wow.
Oh, wow.
I didn't even make it home until my wife and me got such a kid. It was, and when I hit the train, I'm like, you guys are kidding.
Hey, who is presenting the recommendation of your committee?
Our chair, right?
Fine.
I mean, he's the chair, to be fair.
You won't be around anyway, so you can get all the slack. Slack.
Fine.
He wanted to be chair. He
That's
showed
not
up.
the way it works.
It's not the way. I've gotten slapped many times, and I'm only vice chair. Dr. Jordan did. Secretary. You did some good notes.
I'm sorry?
When should I hit start?
He is the chair, he will tell you.
Okay.
In the brown sweater?
Okay.
Yeah.
I'm definitely not until 7. Right now.
No.
I would get hot milk.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Surprised. I mean, no vaccines in the United States. So good. I don't know if we'll keep fine. We're gonna. I think there's a higher chance of
Gates has the least, the worst chance of getting confirmed.
So, like, obviously correlated not causation, but he resigned so he could avoid that report. On the premise that he's gonna be approved. If he's not approved, he's out of a job.
Mm-hmm.
But he'll just become a czar.
He wants to,
He'll be the czar of the attorney general.
I think he wants to run for governor of Florida.
What will Musk's position be?
Oh, Doge.
Doge.
Department of
Doge.
Government Efficiency.
Just making people redundant.
Yeah. Just a meeting. I think it's best that there's 2 people on the Department of Government Efficiency instead of just 1.
Mm-hmm.
So it's inefficient in itself.
Right. Okay.
I really hope we're not paying those people.
I'm sure.
They don't even need money.
No, they don't.
They really, the money is in the
Up over here, Johnny. Over here.
Oh. Okay.
Look at a full crowd tonight.
Yeah. Yeah. I got here just now because I had car issues, so yeah, anytime.
okay.
Yeah,
Yeah,
it's
yeah,
not pressing, no, yeah, thank you very much, appreciate it. Oh, no, okay.
I'll come back. Is Cynthia coming?
She's sick, so she's gonna Zoom.
Okay. So we're not looking at-
I run out of power, I'm going home.
I think so.
Wow, somebody was sick down there, somebody sick here, I need to get my bubble.
All right, good evening and welcome to the November 14th, 2024 meeting of the Holliston School Committee. We do have one member who is participating remotely, so I'm going to read the governor's sort of statement. Pursuant to the governor's July 16, 2022 act relative to extending certain COVID-19 measures adopted during the state of emergency, suspending certain provisions of the open meeting law, MGL C30A, paragraph 20, the Holliston School Committee will be using remote participation for this meeting. The audio of this meeting is being recorded and will be posted to the town's website as soon as possible in accordance with keeping the public informed of actions during the meeting. At this time, I will take a roll call of attendance. Frank. Here. Joe.
Here.
Hillary.
Here.
Sarah.
Here.
Dawn.
Present.
Cynthia.
Yes.
And I, Dan, am here as well. So we are now called to order in session. We will first take up the consent agenda. Does anyone have any questions, comments? That includes some gifts. These are in your packet. And we thank the PTO for all those gifts. So I will entertain a motion to approve the consent agenda.
So moved.
Second by Dawn.
Okay? That requires a roll call vote because we are meeting as we are meeting. Frank?
Yes.
Joe?
Yes.
Hillary?
Yes.
Sarah?
Yes.
Dawn?
Yes.
Cynthia?
Yes.
And I, Dan, am also a yes. Moving on to our report from our student representatives.
So NHS is hosting a senior citizen dinner where theater will put on their musical Carrie for them. And this is happening next Wednesday, so the 20th. Unified Basketball is having a game versus the varsity basketball teams, and this is also happening next Wednesday on the 20th. Yesterday, Holliston hosted the Unified Basketball Jamboree in the gym, where 7 teams from the TVL came to participate. The cross-country girls are going to states. Opening night for Carrie is next Thursday, which is the musical. The Thanksgiving pep rally is coming up. The class of 2025 Krispy Kreme and flag football fundraisers both went very well, and I think a lot of people had fun. The in-school mock election happened where a Republican representative came to speak and give information on the ballot questions for new voters. There was a Veterans Day assembly, which went well, and local veterans came in and spoke of their experiences and how they got involved. And there's like a new youth council, the Spilka Youth Council, where 2 students, Roy Holmes and Lucy Harrington, were chosen especially by the Social Studies Department to participate.
Okay.
Yeah.
Great. Thank you. We will then move on to our school committee individual comment.
Only thing to bring up, obviously, the national elections are over, not just national. Can't reiterate the importance of not letting that get to this, sticking together, being a community. We've accomplished a ton. Let's not further divide. We'll see how it goes.
Okay. Joe?
I have no comment.
No comments.
I just want to say congratulations to all of the fall athletes. There have been pretty amazing performances all around, from cross country to soccer to field hockey, volleyball, football. So it's impressive and great to watch all of the kids out there. So it's a lot of fun. Thank you.
Just a quick update from HMAPA. The November Fund Drive is going on through November 30th. November is HMAPA's Grants Drive Month, and their goal is $2,500 to continue funding the incredible arts initiatives available at Holliston Public Schools. So please go to their website to consider a donation. There's a citrus fundraiser through November 30th. Also, details are on the HMAPA website. And as the student representative stated, the musical Carrie starts next Thursday evening at 7:30 and runs through performances Thursday, Friday, and Saturday evenings at 7:30. On December 10th, the high school and Rams chorus concert is at 7 p.m. at the high school, and on December 17th, the high school and Rams band concert is at 7 p.m. at the high school.
Okay, and I do not have anything, Cynthia. So now we'll move on to public comment. We did have a couple people sign up for public comment. Then I also understand that our principals are here to talk about the start times. Because the start times are so far down on the agenda. If anybody was coming they wanted to sort of be here for that, I don't want to necessarily move it all forward. So what I'd like to do is I'll invite to start our principals up to make any comments that they have about the. I'm just trying to, because then you're going to be talking about something that we haven't actually presented yet. So now I'm just trying to sort of figure out. So,
There's another presentation.
yeah, but I don't want to.
Okay.
You adjourn that whole thing?
You
adjourn?
Early night.
Keith, why don't you just give a high level on what the committee recommended, and then we can get back into the conversation later.
Okay.
Not that I think people are necessarily going to show up later, but just in
Okay.
case.
Okay, sure. The bus school start times committee met 4 times across 4 consecutive weeks. Lively discussions. Very often we ended at 6 because that was the time we agreed to end, as opposed to ending the discussion. We also knew we had a deadline, so the discussions had to end. So at the last meeting, Dr. Jordan took copious notes and on the criteria. It's actually in your packet from him. And, you know, the things that we looked at is basically non-starters and how to kind of wedge ourselves in, both time-wise and function-wise. The committee voted to do, with 2 bus runs, to put the Placentino and middle schools on a bus together, and the Miller School and the high school on a bus together as 2 runs. You know, with no firm start times, just kind of ballparky, kind of AM versus PM type thing. So that was the results of the committee. We adjourned, and that was it.
Was there a recommendation on which grouping went first or second?
The first grouping was the
Placentino
and Rams.
And then Miller High School.
Yes, Placentino and Rams.
And just to specify, nobody's going to school at PM. Like, we're not starting at PM. When you said AM, PM, you got me nervous a bit.
I'm sorry, it says parent high school Miller in the first
high
one?
High school Miller as the first run, and Placentino Rams is the second.
That is right, you're right.
Okay. That's what the memo said.
If people could just speak up, Cynthia says she's having problems hearing. Where's that disc we had? Do you still have that disc?
Oh, yeah, we usually have the,
If you talk a little louder, I can grab it, but I can also set this up.
Sure, that'd be great. So before I will, are all of you looking to speak, or just some of you? I'm sorry, okay.
I think they were hoping to speak, and if you had questions while they were here.
Sure. So I'll probably end up reiterating this later when we have the sort of the fulsome discussion, but I listened to all the meetings that the subcommittee had. It was a lot of really spirited, good debate and discussion back and forth. I think if anyone takes the time, they're on the website. I would encourage people to take that time to see how truly complex this issue is. It is maddeningly complex given the constraints that we have, and I know that what I'm certainly planning on doing and trying to work towards, and I'm confident the rest of the committee is doing that as well, is find the best solution for the most sort of people, and really with an eye towards improving the instructional time and how the schedule is working for our kids. It's going to be really challenging, and I hope that we can do it in a way that people appreciate and not everyone is going to like what the final solution is. Okay, but hopefully we can minimize that and do what is best for the district. So, with that, Jamie or Dr. Slaney or
Just over here?
yeah, Mr. Kime, whoever would like to come up.
Hi, everyone. Thank you so much for the opportunity for us to speak. I think we all want to say thank you and appreciate the complexity of this issue, and we know that this committee worked really hard within the constraints that they were given. For people who do scheduling all the time, we understand what variables look like and how you have to make difficult decisions. Dan, you mentioned, or Keith, you mentioned in the memo that was given to you, there were a set of variables that they took into consideration. And the one thing that wasn't written down, I'm sure it was thought of, but wasn't written down, was around student safety. As the principal of our pre-K to 2 school, when I heard this recommendation, I have to say my breath kind of got taken away a little bit. As one of the 4 people who deal on a daily basis with bus behavior and different situations that happen on a bus, it's truly something I would like you to reconsider this recommendation. First, thinking about the difference of the developmental differences in behavior and maturity between these 2 age groups. Specifically, I'm talking about our youngest students with the middle school students. You're putting 5, 6, and 7-year-olds with 11 to 14-year-olds. From our youngest to oldest, that is an 8-year age gap. Our middle school students, I have in my home middle school students. Karen and I talk often about how we love this age group. That being said, developmentally, they're at a time where they're increasing their independence, their social exploration, and they're testing boundaries. It's an important thing for them to be able to do that. That's how they develop their frontal lobe. That's how they learn decision making. It's our job to give them a place that they can make mistakes in a safe environment. And putting them on a bus with young students who are now going to be exposed to these conversations, these behaviors, discussion about relationships, social dynamics, digital content. This is going to be confusing and distressing for our younger elementary students. Our younger elementary students are going to learn vocabulary that they've never been exposed to. They're going to go home and talk about topics they should not be exposed to. Our younger students require a different structure. The way that we handle our PBIS compared to the middle school of what we're teaching our youngest students. Remember, this is the first time they haven't been in a 4-point harness in the back seat of their car. They're put on a bus, they're learning how to sit, they're learning expected behaviors. Think about the difference of what that looks like between a 5-year-old and a 14-year-old. I heard from the committee, I did get to listen a bit about how what we're hoping is to have middle school leaders. I think there are lots of middle school leaders. I think it's unfair to put that on the back of a middle school student to be able to handle what happens on the bus. We're at risk for so many inappropriate interactions. Middle schoolers are more prone to taking risks. They're developing impulse control, and they do not have a full understanding of their consequences. Common behaviors like recording videos, making jokes, using language that seems harmless to each other, they're in a new situation when we put that in the context of younger students. I already have parents who are concerned at times about behaviors between kindergartners and second graders. I think I've had 2 instances this year that before we were able to speak to a parent, they talked about going to the Holliston police. Once we were able to talk to them and really put it into the context of age-appropriate behavior, we were able to talk about how this is a time where students are learning, that they are they're engaging in things that they don't know about yet. I won't be able to say it's age appropriate if I put a child in the situation with an older child, 13, 14, with now a 5-year-old. When we talk about safety and supervision challenges, I've heard about, well, we could put monitors on buses. We already have trouble attaining enough monitors for our mandated monitor situations. Additionally, you have to understand 50 to 60 students on a bus with a bus driver and one other adult who by law has to sit will not be able to monitor those behaviors. I've heard about cameras on buses. That is then reactionary instead of being able to proactively put this. My biggest fear as the pre-K to 2 principal is actually for our middle schoolers, because we are putting really unfair expectations on our middle school students. We're expecting them to modify their natural behaviors and accommodations to accommodate much younger children, and that's just unfair. This could lead to situations and disciplinary situations that have far-reaching consequences than ever before. I'm talking about unintentionally them overstepping boundaries that are going to lead to things like Title IX investigations, or worse, other legal pieces. They have phones in their hands, and you have to imagine a child who has impulse control just by their brain is still developing, thinking it's funny to have a younger student do something. I don't want to put them in those situations. I think it's unsafe to put all of our students in those situations. And I ask you to just think about that before you make this decision.
Thank you. Anyone else want to?
I think Jamie said it well. If you go to the Miller age gap to the high school age gap, you could go from 8 to 19 as seniors on a bus. So you're looking at an 11-year gap with some of those students. I do think high school kids are a little more self-controlled, but I do worry about the same things that Dr. Slaney shared with the committee.
Can I ask a question? Yeah. Thank you, Dr. Slaney. Do you think it's more appropriate they're completely separate, or a situation where they're with Miller is more acceptable?
Well, there's lots of school systems that have K through 5 bus routes. It's actually a norm. Our school system is more of a rarity that we're split up the way that we are. Most school systems are K through 5. And, you know, when you think of a kindergarten or 5th grader, we wouldn't have them sitting near each other. But if we had a bus of K1 and 2, the next group is 6th graders. If you had a bus of 3, 4, and 5, the next group is 9th graders. So there's that developmental continuum on a K through 5 bus that isn't there with the age gap splits.
Got it.
Okay. Thank you very much. You're welcome to stay if you want to.
Thank you.
Thank you.
But appreciate it. Barbara, did you want to?
Thanks.
Hi, good evening. Barbara Ryan, 14 Irving Place. At first, I always like to acknowledge the leadership. Thank you, Dr. Kuska, Dr. Menard, Dr. Jordan, Mr. Bidet, and all the principals that are here who really take our children and young adults and help them learn and be their best every day. So thank you for that. Second, I am part of the Holliston